Yo guys, welcome back to the PBNP podcast. And today there's no Waddle, but we have got two special guests. We've got Chloe and Lydia.
Hi. Hi.
These two are starting their own podcasts. Do you want to explain a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's called the PinkGinLadies, and our first episode is going to be on Spotify on the 19th of April.
Yeah, so it's about like inspirational, motivational, gossip, girl talk, everything really.
I can tell where they got the inspiration from. Me. So,
Sure.
Spotify, it's cool actually, because like I don't know how to get mine on Spotify or anything.
We can show you if you want.
Thank you. Learn new things every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something different. We're going to do conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about obviously the royal family shit at the end. Save the shittiest to the end. So am I going first? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
all my notes are on my phone, but obviously I ain't got my phone right now, so I'm going to have to wing it. I've got like a mad obsession. Well, it's not a mad obsession because I don't want to say that. It's kind of weird. Not about Nazis, but like about the Hitler conspiracy theory. By the way, we'll like rate them out of 5. Like.
Oh, I didn't know we was getting rated on our conspiracy theories.
I like to just keep it real. It's surprising. So yeah, mine's about like Hitler surviving like the war and stuff. So like, I've got an obsession that the world is a lie, that life is not so mundane, and Hitler survived the war, and people are lying to us. So I watched something the other day, like a documentary about like this guy went around South America, like obviously Argentina, where Hitler apparently like hid, and they found like a secret bunker in like where he meant to have died. And his body that they found wasn't his body, like his girlfriend's body. Yeah, they like both took cyanide pills apparently and killed themselves.
Yeah, I've heard that he might still be alive.
He won't be now.
I heard that he didn't actually kill himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a documentary, and they talk about like they go to like different places where they think he went when he survived, and like looks at old archives and stuff. And he apparently went to Chile, Argentina, and all around South America. And apparently in Chile, there's like a little colony, like a little village, where they're all white Germans, like in one place.
Right.
And they all speak German. They don't speak South American. They just all speak German, which is kind of weird. And then they're all blonde. They've all got blue eyes, stuff like that. And it's a place called, I think it's called Colonia Dignidad. It's where all these, like a little colony in South America, and they all like, it was like bought by old Jews' money and stuff like that. And they all still live there now.
So are they just Germans, or are they Nazi Germans?
The Nazi descendants.
Right.
So they all believe like Nazi ideology and Nazi beliefs. They're not like dangerous, because obviously like the world's moved on sort of thing, but yeah, they still believe in that. And they went in, they started talking. Apparently they have like archives in there, like Hitler there and stuff in the 60s and stuff, and they got kicked. The people who went in the documentary got kicked out. It's all like conspiracy theories. But in the 90s apparently they were like experimenting on like Chilean boys and stuff like that. And
Oh my god.
I've got a weird hobby. I just like looking at things.
But if Hitler did go there, he would have fit in, and they probably would have worshipped him. So
He's like he's not a god, like, but he's like a god to them.
yeah, people viewed him as a god back in the day. So
Well, yeah, apparently like there's like a scribe and shit, like a book, like their Bible of like how to live the life and stuff like that, and what to believe and all that. But that's just like my conspiracy theory. I think like Hitler survived. I think life is not so boring. I think we're being lied to. I think there's aliens. So
yeah,
I think yeah.
there's definitely aliens.
Yeah,
I'm not
something out there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure whether I believe Hitler lived, but
Maybe just the fact I want to believe it.
yeah, why would you want to believe that Hitler lived a full life?
Because it just sounds like an action film, doesn't it?
Yeah, I get that.
Like a CIA. Like, to speak about aliens, I know when we went to yours conspiracy theory in a minute, but the CIA like released like loads of images, didn't they, of like a spacecraft which didn't move like an average.
Yeah. Well, I thought that it was proven that aliens existed. I'm pretty sure that they found life on Mars, didn't they?
No, they found these like running water, which
Oh right.
yeah, which got told apparently it couldn't be, but there is water there. They got like a Mars rover. There's got like a Mars rover over there, I think, and they're looking at all the images to see if there is like footprints or inhabitable place. Because eventually this like Earth's gonna like die, and they've got to find a different place to live. That's what they're looking for.
Right. Rather than save our own planet, let's go find another one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love that phrase.
So what's yours conspiracy theories?
Ours is actually about the royal family, but again, I reiterate, I didn't know we was rating our conspiracy theories,
It's
so
fine.
it's not an amazing
We'll
one.
tell both, then we'll rate both of them one at a time.
Right, okay. So we actually found ours on TikTok by a user called Paskim. So this actually happened in October 1964 in Columbus, Canada, at a Catholic school. So what they were doing at these residential schools was kind of like I want to say abducting, but separating Canadian Indigenous children from their families and forcing them to go to these residential schools to civilise them. It was known as the final solution to the Indian problem, which is what it was referred to by the Catholics. And basically all these children were dying at the schools because it was such poor conditions, it was really bad, and yet the Catholics pursued with them. And I think they carried on going until the 80s, it was really bad. But the Queen and Prince Philip were involved somehow.
Yes, so
I'll let you
I'll
have
have
the
to look
notes.
at this.
So scripted, I love it.
So in 1964, the Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, they arrived in Canada. So there were no press or fanfare or anything. No one knew they were arriving. So the Queen visited one of these residential schools, and she made all the children kiss her feet, which is really weird. And she also invited the high achievers of the school to go on a picnic with her and Prince Philip. So out of these high achievers, 10 children was taken, so 7 boys, 3 girls, and they're all aged between 6 and 14, I think.
Yeah, so they went for a picnic by this lake in the woods. It was really weird. The witness said it was just really strange, and then they saw, like, out of nowhere, 10 kids got up with the Queen and Prince Philip and then just walked off into the woods. It was really weird, and they were just never seen again, never spoken about again.
The families didn't say anything,
yes,
questioned or anything.
Yeah, so the witness knew 2 of the kids that were taken, and he went to see the family once he got out of the school, and they just assumed that the kid had died, they didn't know anything about it. So it was called William Coombs, this key witness. Basically, he was going to testify in the Church of Tribunals or Tribunal of the Church or something like that. He was going to testify, and then he randomly, just before he was meant to testify, got hospitalised and died, despite his partner May saying that he was in the best health she'd ever seen him. There was no underlying health conditions, and so on and so forth. So, like, the conspiracy is, did they kill him as a cover-up? What happened to these 10 children? Because I know back in the day, like, there were a lot of sacrifices being made on Indigenous children to kind of, like, appease God or whatever.
Yeah.
So, whether it was anything to do
Because
with that.
the royal family are quite heavily like religious, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's all for God and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're really scared of the religion.
I mean, I read some a few years ago about they used to abduct children in like small towns in Canada and stuff like that to like keep them alive and like this is far fetched, but like to get that like used to eat kids and stuff like that.
It's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they've lived this long for a reason. I mean, Prince Philip's like what? He's dead already, but he's walking around. It's like a zombie, it's like a corpse.
Yeah. Well, is he alive? That's another conspiracy theory. Like, is he actually just dead and people are photoshopping him? I don't know.
I mean, I've been watching The Crown, right? It's a bit more of like research. And I know Prince Philip's not Matt Smith. I know that. Okay, but they don't seem weird. They seem normal.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the higher up, like, because the Queen doesn't really do anything. Like, she just sits there and she can't get involved or anything. She's just there as like a tourist attraction sort of thing. Like any like political events, she can't get involved with. She just sits there, doesn't speak. But I don't know. Apparently, like, obviously we'll move on to the Meghan and Harry thing in a bit. But I think he said something like there's like a structure that they have to uphold and stuff like that. And this hires up that not more powerful than the Queen, but they monitor that structure and they like advise us sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think there is something going on like that, because I read like they used to like go to towns and like steal kids, and kids were going missing, and because it's part of the Commonwealth, isn't it, Canada? So like she's their queen as well, not America, but she's their queen too. So I think there's something dodgy about it.
Yeah.
And not an average person lives to like 94 or 99, but they walk about like they do. They walk about like they're 80s.
Yeah. The Crown made me feel. I think it's because I like Matt Smith. It made me feel so bad for Prince Philip, but then when you actually look into him, he's not that great of a person. He's actually a pretty bad person.
Yeah, well, I did some extra research, and I think in like season 2 or season 1, like they accuse him of having an affair or something, and they like try and stay clear of it. And he says in the show that he doesn't do it, but I did some more, and apparently he actually did it in real life.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a prick, and like, I like Doctor Who and stuff like that, and I'm kind of siding with a dickhead.
Yeah.
So like, it is. I think it's watered down and like biased towards the royal family. I don't know if they approve it and stuff like that, but
no, they don't. I've read comments from the royal. You know, like, I don't know who they are, the institution.
Yeah.
They've made comments that they don't condone what's been shown in The Crown.
I mean, Yeah, I do understand that. Like, it is kind of watered down. They wouldn't have in the show they're going to Canada stealing kids. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is kind of dodgy. And like, if you're upper class white, like in your 90s,
Yeah.
there's something going on. You know what I mean? There is something going on, and we can move. Like, what do you rate Man out of 5?
Yours out of 5?
Yeah.
I would rate it a 3.7.
What about you?
About 4.
Very kind. I think there's something in yours, you know, because I've heard it quite a lot. I mean, I watched other podcasts and there's loads about the Queen. I'd give it a 4.5, you know. I think even it might not even be the Queen and Prince Philip, it might be something to do with the Queen and Prince Philip, but I think there is something to do with kids going missing.
Yeah.
Because they've been about since what, the 50s,
Yeah.
40s, and they're still like healthy and shit.
Yeah. I think she's the longest reigning
Yeah.
monarch for sure.
Yeah.
It's disturbing, really. But I also think, like, because of the crown, to be fair to the Queen, I wondered whether she's just holding on to it so that her son doesn't have to go through what she went through, because she didn't want to be the Queen, did she? She was just kind of thrown into it.
Her sister wanted it.
Yeah. And I think at some point she thought her sister would be better than she is. But again, I get all the information from a TV show off Netflix.
And TikTok.
And TikTok, yeah. So how reliable that is, I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, kids aren't the normal people, are they? Sorry about that.
Is that the ghost of Prince Philip?
Yeah, aka grandfather. Yeah, I mean, these kids aren't the most normal people. I mean, you've got Prince Andrew. By the way, all this stuff is allegedly. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to die. I'm healthy, you know, so I'm fine. Like, you got Prince Philip, who allegedly, you know, has got friends in high places and likes hanging around with underage children.
I'm going to say it because I don't care if I get killed. It would be a storyline. I don't think it's alleged.
It's not alleged.
Yeah.
Proven.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he said something like he was at Pizza Express at the time. And it's like pizza with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and all that.
It's just ridiculous.
I know.
Oh, God.
I mean, you've got the other one. Who's the other one? The older brother. Big ears, allegedly.
Older brother of who?
Andrew, the oldest one. Is it Charles? You got Prince Charles.
Yeah. He's the heir.
He's just a weirdo, isn't he? He's just a weird Donny. Like, I wouldn't want him as like king.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is he the heir? Would it?
Yeah,
if
he's
it
the
wouldn't
oldest.
Go to Philip, it would go to him.
No, Philip's only 3 married, so it won't go to him. It's like, I think when her dad died, her mum didn't get it because she wasn't in that family. She was just married into it, and then it would go through bloodline, won't it?
Yeah.
So after Charles, it'd be William, I think,
Yeah.
and then it'd be his son. But it's fucked. It's fucked up. I mean, they're all white, and I think they're all incest too, aren't they?
Yeah, I've heard that they marry their cousins and things.
Yeah, Prince Philip's Queen Elizabeth's second cousin,
It's weird, isn't
because
it?
they're descendants of Queen Victoria, I think.
Yeah, keep it in the family.
Yeah.
So weird.
Well, we can move on to like the bigger thing. I mean, like, obviously it's been undeniable, like in the news and stuff. That Oprah interview. I haven't watched it. I've only watched highlights because I don't care that much.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I just thought it'd be, you know, views and shit.
Yeah, I would have only watched the highlights, but then when you asked me to come on here, I was like,
I
better watch it.
I appreciate the commitment. I appreciate the
I've
reason.
watched it twice.
I've just watched the highlights. I mean, and the crown. And so, I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, obviously, like, you've had the Piers Morgan shit. I spoke about it with Waddle on the last thing. The older people are tending to stick up for Piers Morgan, and I don't understand how you can. You might not believe Meghan, but I don't know how you can side with someone who hacked a dead girl's phone when you were the editor of News of the World. He's a racist, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just a despicable person.
I know.
He shouldn't be given a platform. I feel like if anyone our age said things like that, we'd have been like kicked off air. We would never have been heard from again.
Yeah, I know.
He's just awful. Yeah. What,
Yeah, I think the same. I just think how he's got away with this for so long.
yeah.
And it is because of the older generation that they like him and
Yeah.
like what he speaks about, he thinks he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're the younger generation.
Mm.
Our views are completely different to the older generation.
Yeah.
So we want him gone.
Because I saw on Twitter that he's getting brought back onto ITV, and apparently he's saved ITV.
Apparently they're trying to fundraise for him, or trying
Yeah.
to do a petition to get him back onto TV.
And there's so many people pro-Piers, it's so weird.
I mean, Bob said something over there which kind of interesting. Was like, but I did agree with him in like the Corona stuff. Like when he were talking about politicians, I went, yeah, but he just throws shit at a wall and hope shit sticks. So like, he will say things because he's so direct now and again. And you're like, yeah, I do agree with that, but because he's expected to do it. But like he does when he like, I think when transgender people go on and he just like goes into him saying like it's affairs and stuff like that, and he doesn't agree with him. But the Prince, it was so personal. I watched more of that than the interview, like his reaction to it. It seemed so personal to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even the fact he took, like when she said she has mental health issues. It was more the fact he just didn't want to believe it, and it was so personal to him. Like he didn't even take into account like if he could have gone, she might be telling the truth, but I don't believe it. It was more like, yeah, she's lying. She's lying. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you think
I
about
think
it.
it's because he went for one dinner date with her. He thinks he knows her, and he's just ridiculous.
I mean, there's a video on YouTube I watched of this YouTuber, and he interviewed loads of politicians before the Oprah interview came out, but he told them it'd come out, and they obviously politicians just waffle along, and they said stuff like, yeah, it's Meghan's best performance yet, saying they'd seen it, but it hadn't even come out yet. So I think that's just like proof, like they're all scripted to say something about it, and if it's in line with the Queen or someone they're close with, they've got to say it. And listen, I don't think Meghan's perfect. I've heard rumours and stuff like she's not the nicest of people, and she's quite manipulating, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have mental health issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people, when they talk about it, you have to be either on that side or Harry and Meghan's side.
Yeah.
There's never like someone who takes both sides into account, and I think and there's no one innocent in it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe Piers Morgan, but I generally don't believe Harry and Meghan, because you can't say you want privacy and go onto an Oprah interview and get 100 million from it.
Well, they didn't get paid for
Did they
the
not?
interview, no. So
Again.
that's why I believe what they are saying, because they said at the beginning, well, I'm taking their word for the fact they didn't get paid for it. So really, the only thing that they can get from that interview is more damaged relationships with their family.
Yeah. They've got nothing to lose, really.
Yeah. Especially when they know the press goes so hard on them. Why would you put yourself out there to be hounded the way they have been?
Yeah, and I think he said something, didn't he? Something like, if you give the press good press, it's like a relationship, it's like a business thing, like they'll then portray you as good in the media.
Yeah.
Whereas vice versa, if they don't, they'll come hunting for you. And I mean, the press have got a lot of things to like talk about, because they were the ones who were racist at the beginning, like about Meghan being like dark colour and stuff like that, and they started a narrative off. I don't know what you guys think about someone in the family speaking about the baby and stuff, saying what colour is it going to be and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was speaking to Lydia in the car about
this discussion before we came here.
Yeah, I think I know exactly who it is. I don't know whether I might get shot for saying who I think it is though, but they don't know where I live, so
Exactly.
I think it was Charles and Philip. If Philip's alive, I think it was him.
But he did say it wasn't his granddad though, didn't he?
I don't know, probably. I might have missed
Yeah.
that bit out.
He said it wasn't his grandma or his granddad, so it wasn't the Queen or Philip.
Well, it was definitely his father was involved in it.
Yeah, I think so, and there's rumours that it could have been William as well.
Yeah.
But I find it kind of ironic. I think after the interview aired, the next day they went to a school full of different coloured kids and stuff like that. And I think that's just like a publicity saying, yeah, we're not racists.
Who went to the school?
I think it was William, Kate,
Oh, right.
and Charles. They visited a school, and it was a special school for like different cultures and different stuff like that. Then I think it was that the next day the interview aired.
Yeah, but wasn't like there footage of Charles and Camilla back in the day? They went to an indigenous.
Oh, I've seen that. Were
Yeah.
they, like, laughing?
Yeah, they were laughing at some indigenous people throat singing and dancing. So I just think they're disrespectful to all cultures other than white British people.
I mean, you've got to think as well, like, they're from a certain era, aren't they? And the white upper class, they are going to have these beliefs. And it didn't surprise me that they are racist, because it's just what they are, innit? It's just what they are. I mean, I don't know if the Queen is, because she seems quite, I don't know, she seems quite normal.
Yeah.
But I think Philip is. I mean, is he German? Swedish? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's Austrian and German.
I mean, his sisters were like Nazis and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got to have some fascist belief and stuff like that. And listen, I like, it doesn't surprise me, and I do believe. I almost said Kate, and I do believe Meghan when she says she has got mental health issues. But I just think it's like we do all these protests like Black Lives Matter and shit, and mental health campaigns, but it sort of like goes against it when you're on like leaders of your country are like racists. I just feel like you're fighting a losing battle, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree, which is why I think we should dethrone the monarchy.
Yeah, do you think it's like an outdated structure? Like
100%. Yeah, it's not modern, it's not progressive at all, I don't think. Like, so when I started watching The Crown, I was like, oh, I feel so bad for this family. Bless them, they're trying the hardest. And then, like, after I've done my research into some scandals and stuff, I just think, why are we giving these people the time of the day? Why are we giving them our hard-earned tax money? Like, what is going on?
I mean, I think the show was made for you to feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
And I haven't got that far into the show yet, but obviously you've got the Diana stuff and the Charles stuff.
Yeah.
And these like recorded messages like the way he used to speak to her and stuff like that. He's just a prick.
Yeah.
He's just a massive bellend, and I think like I know you want to talk like on yours podcast about like motivational stuff and like mental health stuff. What's like you might not have got notes down for this. What's like your opinions on like mental health and how it's perceived in like obviously society and shit?
I think media brought it. I can't even say it. I think the media plays a big part in like mental health.
Like dictates it sort of thing.
Yeah. I think the way the media puts mental health out there, I think stuff needs to be done more on it.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of help out there for people.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are still like old-fashioned and think it's something that should be kept behind closed doors, but being quiet about mental health just makes the problem like 10 times worse than it could be if you spoke out about it.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a taboo, isn't it? It's like people like don't like speaking about it. I mean, like we drift upon a Piers Morgan. I mean, even people, I think even a mental health counsellor went on to the Good Morning Britain, and even he was saying she's lying, and it's not a good sign for people who have got it. Like, makes you not want to talk about it even more if the professionals are saying you're lying.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's this culture of like the older people, they're scared of what they don't understand and what they can't see. So I think, for example, my grandparents, they're of that ilk of like get on with it sort of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously they have to be quite understanding because I live with them, and they've tried to educate them. But I think it is like for the next 10 to 20 years, that's just how it's going to be, because we're the next generation sort of thing. And obviously we've been like brought up to like understand and listen, and like we understand like different sexualities, different mental health, different genders, where older people just don't understand it. And that's when I think that's where racism comes from. Like you shout and you get angry at things you don't understand.
Yeah. With mental health, like I've had family members come out about their mental health, and other people have just said, "Well, just go for a walk." That aggravates me more than anything. Like going for a walk is going to cure everything. That's just not. Just shows they have no understanding of what's going on. Someone's lives.
Just need it educating. But obviously they brought up not knowing about mental health. Like it wasn't open back then. Same with sexuality, all them things. I just think they need to be more educated, and we as young people can educate them. But I think sometimes I think, I know better than you because I'm a lot older. I've been through a lot more. But in fact, we might know more than what they do.
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, yeah, like it goes back to it. I mean, even like older people might think, oh, why should I listen to you? I'm older than you, and I've lived through more experience than you. And that's the issue. Like, they're too stubborn as an older generation. And I'm not saying us as a generation are perfect. I mean, I also think to our positives there's a lot of negatives. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone, but I think there's also a lot of people who get offended easy. And I don't.
I'm one of them people.
I mean, I don't know how to explain. I mean, there's a lot of TV shows that I watch that you couldn't make nowadays because it offends. Like, for example, The Office.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of not racist jokes, but like on like touching the line jokes that back in the day you could probably make, and you can't do that anymore. And I think you've got to tailor to different people. And I'm not trying to offend anyone. I mean, everyone's their own person, and I respect that. But I think obviously as what's the word? Everything's becoming a lot of very sensitised nowadays, and that's cool. I mean, it just comes with a generation, and I mean, maybe the next generation will be different. But I think from time to time, like Lydia said, social media's played a massive part in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people should have to put all their identification in social medias, like age and everything, because you see it on footballers and stuff like that. The amount of racist abuse sports people, athletes get, even normal people get by like bot accounts and spam accounts. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's the whole cancel culture as well, which I just find to be something horrible that we've kind of created as a generation. It can just ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
And like doxing people, it's just because you disagree with one thing they've said, it's so terrible.
It goes back to the thing, like, they've been brought up with a phone in their hand. I mean, when I was in school, I didn't have an iPhone, I didn't have Snapchat. I don't know, I said Snake on my Nokia. But I mean, nowadays you can just tell people your opinion anonymously, and it's scary to think. I mean, if they don't agree with you or you don't agree with them, it's like you're wrong.
Yeah.
There's no talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the worst person in the world if you don't agree with them. I watch a lot of football shows, and they can call in. There's a lot of abuse. Like, opinions are subjective, so like people don't listen to that, and that's when the hate and the abuse comes.
Yeah.
And I've had to deal with that. I mean, I'm sure like you guys have had to deal with that, and it's just having to find that balance. And like, I'd say like 18-year-olds now are a lot different to what I was when I was 18. And I'm only 22. It was 4 years. But it's just mad how like things change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It is mad. Yeah, because it reflects in politics as well. Like, a lot of people are scared to say who they politically support because our generation have made it that if you're not this thing, then you're a bad person.
You get slated for it. You can't have your own opinion.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like follow the crowd, so to speak.
Yeah, which is probably going to cause some problems at some point when we're the leaders of the world.
And when I said people get offended, I mean that's what I meant in terms of like, you can't have your own opinion without someone batting your head off about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like, you've worked during the COVID in a hospital, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've seen the effects it's had on people.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your experiences on that? You don't have to talk too much in detail about it.
It's massively affected it because I qualified during the middle of COVID, so I've never worked as a nurse not in COVID, so it's different to know what it's like.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of mental health talks at work. A lot of companies are coming in doing extra counselling for staff, just because the ward I work on is a COVID ward, but we do see the after effect, and it just takes a toll on people. And I think because we're not allowed, so I work in a children's hospital, we're not allowing parents to come into the hospital, so that takes a toll on children, on the parents, on staff, because children don't understand, they don't understand any of it. And it is hard, but my work's been really understanding, really good with mental health support for staff. So I think it's been really positive out of a bad situation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got onto that because there's all these vaccine conspiracy theories and stuff like that, stupid stuff. And I feel like if you want the vaccine, going back to what you said, and you believe it's good, then people are like, oh, it's bad, and they bite your head off for it.
Yeah.
And people believe things through like stupid. I mean, I know people who haven't followed COVID rules since the beginning because they believe, oh, it's 5G. You know what I mean? It's 5G, and like you've got first-hand experience of like knowing it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just want to touch upon that because like it also relates to the fact that people believe what they want to believe, and if you don't agree with that, then you're wrong.
Yeah,
sort of.
I've got family members who truly think like it's something that the injection is trying to make certain women infertile.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot of people want the Oxford vaccine and not the AstraZeneca one because it's English made. They don't want a foreign vaccine. I've heard that quite a bit. A lot of countries are not they've stopped the AstraZeneca vaccine because it's the high risk of blood clots, but women, they're on contraception and the blood clots risks are so higher than what the actual vaccine is.
Yeah, I mean, I read something today. Apparently, the blood clots that come from this vaccine are even lower than the average yearly blood clots in a person anyway.
Yeah.
So it's because people are focusing on one thing, like disregard everything else. So I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just like to talk about shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll move on a little bit. Obviously, well, it's not ending, but the pandemic's obviously things are opening back up and stuff like that. What are your hopes for the rest of the year?
I don't know how it's going to play out, to be honest.
No, I'd.
The plan is set out. I don't think it's going to go like that.
No.
I think once you start opening things up, cases will rise. I think they have put a lot of thought into it, but I just don't think, because people are fed up. They're fed up by it now.
Yeah.
We've been in it for a year and a half, 2 years. It's a long time to be in a pandemic and having to be in lockdown. focus on. And I do think it's hard, and I do think people won't stick to it.
No.
But it's just how you manage that, really.
Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing? It's now currently night time, and I'm just editing the podcast. Looking back through the footage, it turns out at the end there was some technical difficulties. So my laptop died, and I do mention it in the podcast itself that the camera goes a few times, and my camera died completely and the sound went because the laptop died shittingly. But we only missed the wrap up at the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It's something different. Chloe and Lydia are great girls. They've got their own podcast coming, PinkGinLadies. Please check them out. It do their channel a world of good, and they're great people, and you're going to enjoy all the content they make. So yeah, I'll link all their stuff in the description. I can't thank you all enough for helping us with the channel, growing the channel, business and everything. It means a lot. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Different thing, little treat for you. Yeah, different structure. So can you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, please, grow the channel, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.